Hi, I'm Caitlin E, and welcome back to the Lit Review. I personally feel like I'm having a bit of deja vu because this is the second time I will be filming this and many other videos. If you follow this channel, you have seen already on my community page that I basically lost the audio to about 6 to 8 videos. So you're probably going to hear me say this in several of the things that I end up refilming, but I am refilming a lot right now and trying to get things out for you. So this is going to feel, at least for me, a little bit like deja vu as we do our favorite thing to do together, realistically, and that's LitLand. If this is your first time seeing this, this is my board game that I loosely based off of Candyland originally, but it's grown leaps and bounds since then. I work my way across the board and each color corresponds to a genre. There's also things that can happen along the way, like challenges and stuck squares and bridges to cross with trolls, all of that good stuff. But this is how I pick the books I'm going to read in any given month. I've been playing LitLand for almost 4 years now, which is wild to me. So if you'd like to see all the ways that this game has grown and changed since the beginning, I will link the playlist up above and down below. But the current rules will always be linked in my description box as well. We got to talk first about what I was able to finish from April, and then we've got to talk about what I'm trying to do in May, because there actually is a lot this month. So actually, let's start there. So I'm going to be participating in a readathon this month, the Whodunnit Readathon, and I will talk more about that at the end of this video. So if you'd like to skip around and get to that part of the video, make sure you stay till then. I will also try to link the timestamps down below as well. But in terms of monthly book clubs or reading challenges, there are two that I always try to participate in. The first is my book club, the Book Covered Book Club. It is a very casual place, friends, but it's basically where we pick a book based off the cover. Everybody can have a different pick based on the prompt, and May's prompt is the color sky blue. So sky blue somewhere on the cover. I just thought that was like a nice prompt for May. And then I also like to participate whenever I can in the Buzzwordathon from Kayla from Books and Lala. And the Buzzwordathon prompt for May is every. So it could be just the word every, but it could be everything, everyone, everybody, like just every something. But now we have to talk about how I did in April, which is questionable. Not bad, but not great. So before I get to doing the April wrap up, I actually have an IOU. We are going to be taking a punishment today in LitLand. We will pull that right up front because in March, I told you I was so confident about being able to finish The Light We Carry by Michelle Obama or one of my other picks that was overdue. I did not. So I am not taking a punishment for my actions in April, but I am going to just own and be honest that I do owe you a punishment from March, and so we're going to square up and make that right. I do have some rollovers into May from April, but I did finish the Troll Bridge pick that we had together, which was to read a book whose author had like an alliterative name, so Adriana Anders. So I read Uncharted, and this was my monthly troll pick with all of you, so I get to save myself from taking a punishment. I don't have it here with me, but I did not finish Zara by S.J. Jones in April, and I'm going to be putting this book on my priority shelf so that I can hopefully reprioritize and give it a second chance. Uncharted is saving me from taking a punishment there. There were 2 other books in April that I needed to read or else take a punishment, but I did finish those. So this is why the monthly troll comes in handy, and we will be pulling another one of those at the end of this video too. So I did finish The Diamond Eye by Kate Quinn and The Princess Diaries by Meg Cabot. I also finished another book from my April TBR, which was Queen Bee by Amelie Howard. And then I just aggressively mood read for the rest of April. So I do have 3 books that are going to be rolling over into May from our April TBR together. First is The Heart Principle by Helen Huang. Since I had to refilm this, I can tell you I've successfully already finished this, which is great. So it's a rollover, but it's a very low stress rollover because it's already wrapped. We're doing it. I do need to roll over I'll Be the One by Lila Lee. And then you didn't get to see this book in my April TBR because I had to complete the challenge of like pulling a book from a free little library. And I couldn't find one at the time. So I went back throughout the month and picked up Black Hills by Nora Robert. Look at this hardback that was just in my free little library, or one of the free little libraries around me. So I haven't read any Nora Roberts in a really long time. So these are the 2 books that are going to roll over into May and potentially may cause me to take a punishment in June. But I'm pretty confident that we're going to be able to finish these, especially because I already finished the other one that was supposed to roll over. So these are really the risk takers here. So because I have refilming this, I do already know what my punishment pick is, so I won't be drawing that with you for the purposes of today, but I do already know that it is a book that I have lost interest in over time. It still burns me that this prompt got pulled. This is a very good punishment pick prompt, because there's nothing that burns us book hoarders like the books we lost interest in over time. Now, those of you who have been around on this channel for several years and have stayed with me as I have put this book on multiple TPRs, this is its last chance though. Hear me, universe. This is this book's last chance, because I bought this book in college and it's still been drifting around with me. This is Sweet Tooth by Ian McEwan. I bought this book legitimately on the strength of my adoration and affection for Atonement, both the book and its adaptation starring James McAvoy and Keira Knightley, because that left such a firm impression on me. It is set in 1972, and our main character's name is Serena. So shortly after graduation, Serena kind of gets pulled into the world of espionage to investigate this young writer named Tom Haley. So she kind of has to go undercover in this way to investigate Tom, because she is like a reader of novels and it feels really natural to her, but she starts to fall for the guy. So I'm sure there's like some real conflict of interest stuff going on here. It's a historical setting. I have definitely lost interest in this book over time because I'm just like afraid of it at this point, but also somehow can't let it go. It's a real stumper for me. But this is our punishment. This is book number 1. So now, after all of that, we can finally get to the board game footage proper. This is poll number 1. Okay, so here's our current state of the board. At the end of April, we were here. A quick tour of the board, as per usual. Our cards that we'll be pulling from, cards that we have already used. Here are last month's cards that will be going into that discard pile, which are the Troll Bridge cards, like which we used last time to cross a bridge. We will also be pulling a monthly troll at the end of this video. These are stuck squares, which happen if I land here. And then these are our challenge cards for if we get draw one of these and get sent somewhere over this board. So it's been a wild ride on this game of LitLand, and we are taking one punishment, so we're going to do 3 pulls together today and see what happens. All right, you know I love to see this. Poll number 1 is 1 red for romance on this channel. And I love to see it because it is primarily what I read. I actually use this game to kind of force myself to read other things. I feel so weird talking to you guys about this because when I do this normally, I'm kind of pondering and thinking through things and talking my thought process out loud. And now it's like, no, I'm redoing this. I've already set this TBR. There's no like mystery, but it feels really weird. So I chose to pick Dial A for Aunties by Jessie Q Santanto because I want to move forward my Romancing the Tarot TBR really badly. This is the last book in episode 4, so if you'd like to catch up on that series while I'm working on this, I will also link that episode up above. What I love about this premise is that our female main character, Medi Chan, accidentally kills a blind date, calls her meddlesome fam to pull up, and they help her hide the body. But because obviously they're not like good at this, they accidentally ship the body to a destination vacation because they work at a wedding catering company. And so they accidentally ship the body to a billionaire's wedding. But that's not all. Never is. Along the way, Medi kind of stumbles upon and reconnects with her great college love and heartbreak. The last sentence in the back of this book just slays me. Is it possible to escape murder charges, charm her ex back into her life, and pull off a stunning wedding all in one weekend? Some of us really do want to have it all. I've never read it, obviously, but I am looking forward to it and hopefully get to move forward with that series that I love. All right, pull number 2. Oh, cool. Okay. All right, so where? Oh no. Okay. This one is historical, and it took me a second to be like, which one is historical? But this one is YA. This one is historical. So back we go. Boop. Sad boop. All right, and we're gonna pull one of these. Ooh. Oh, okay. We'll talk about that more in a second. Oh, this still hurts, even if I've had some time to come to terms with it. The actual challenge that we pulled for it, see if it'll focus, is highest rated on Goodreads. So the way I like to treat these squares is whenever possible, I will find a book that fits this genre prompt first and prioritize it that way. If I can't, then I can go explore other genres that meet whatever the challenge is. But in this case, this is very doable. In fact, it's upsettingly doable because I've been low-key avoiding this book for years. I didn't really have to dig very far on my Goodreads because this book is, with a god-awful amount of ratings, at a 4.6, which is very good, insanely good. I'm just scared of this book. It's actually one that y'all have recommended to me for another long forgotten video concept, which is actually kind of exciting that I can finally progress with that a little bit because I do think about that video from time to time, but I digress. It's The Nightingale by Kristen Hanna. This is why I've been avoiding it, also because I hear you cry, like a lot, but that it's beautifully well written. I hear lovely things about Kristen Hanna's work overall, so there's good here. I'm just intimidated. What I do know about this book in terms of it satisfying the historical portion of the challenge is that it is set during World War II and follows two different sisters as they are trying to navigate life in Nazi-occupied France during World War II. So one of them is slightly older, one of them much younger, and they both kind of get caught up in the moments of the war in different ways. The back cover is actually not that helpful in me giving you a good synopsis here, because it spends most of the real estate on the back cover talking about how freaking good it is according to all these people and accolades and whatnot. So you know it's good, or at least you're supposed to know it's good. There's like nothing here in the synopsis, and I'm not looking at Goodreads because I don't want to accidentally spoil anything for myself. But we're doing this! Yay! Last pull because of the punishment, so pull number 3. Oh, okay. Well, that's kind of good. Boop. Boop. Yikes. Cool. This still gets me. It really does. It still gets me because this is a lot of historical by accident on this TBR. This green times 2 means I must pick 2 historical books when I already have 2. And I could have changed that. I guess I could have changed it. I could have lied, but that's not really my way. I don't really do well with that. So two historicals. So one of my major goals this year is to read at least one book from a subscription box. And in this case, I'm going to do that with the 2 picks that I am picking for these books. So the first I'm going to start out with is The Davenports by Crystal Marquez. I am going to have to look this up to properly pronounce this individual's last name, so apologies because I'm pretty sure I'm mispronouncing it one way or the other. So this is the first in a series about a wealthy black family in about 1910, and it is really exciting because it's going to be multiple POV. We're following multiple of the women specifically in this Davenport clan they're wealthy because I think their father makes like a really awesome carriage, I think is the name. Yeah, Davenport Carriage Company. What's exciting to me about this is that there's multiple POV of the women in the Davenport family we're going to be getting in this book. So we have Olivia, the beautiful eldest daughter, who's ready to get married until she meets a very charismatic civil rights leader. Then the younger daughter, Helen, is more interested in fixing cars than she is in falling in love. Love that for her. Unless it's with Olivia's suitor. Oops. And then Amy Rose is the childhood friend of the Davenports, but she's also now a maid in the Davenport household. And she's in love with Olivia and Helen's brother, John. But then there's also Olivia's best friend, Ruby, who's into John. So it sounds like there's just going to be this really layered story about all of these women having their various experiences in the like Gilded era of the US. And I'm really excited about it. I know it's the first in a series, and this came to me originally as part of a like TBR Pigeon book subscription recommendation, and I'm so excited to finally get to this. So pick number 2 is one that's been on my shelves for a hot minute, and something about it just spoke to me as I was looking for books, and that's Circe by Madeline Miller. One of these, like, I keep finding them here and there buried in my shelves, like a random book of the month pick from way back when. When was this? April 2018. Whew. That's been on my shelves for a really long time. Okay, but most of you probably know of Madeline Miller, even if you haven't read her before, or at least heard some of her books. Circe is one of her more famous ones, the other one being The Song of Achilles. So Madeline Miller does a good job of giving like really emotional heft to mythological retellings. The Inside Jacket talks about Circe as kind of this daughter born to a Titan who can't really find her way amongst the gods. She finds comfort in mortals and the abilities of witchcraft. As she gains in that strength, she gets kind of banished away to her island. And so along the way, Circe encounters many other mythological figures that we might recognize, like the Minotaur, and of course, Odysseus. Most of us probably heard about Circe if we had to read the Odyssey in high school or college. So I'm really excited to see a different light to Circe's story. I hear really lovely things about it. Now, what I normally like to do is talk to you about the monthly troll. And the goal of this is for us to potentially do something together, but the stakes are really low for you. If you'd like to participate, please let me know in the comments below what you'll be doing or reading. If you read it, we get to have this wonderful community experience. If you don't, you're still along for the ride as I do chaotic things, so it's all good for you. For me, if I successfully prioritize reading the monthly troll, I can save myself from a future punishment in the next round. So there is incentive for me to participate and do my thing, and hopefully it's still fun for you. This month's monthly troll, again, already pulled it, already prepped for it, is a bestseller. I'm going to be honest with you all, I did pick this book because when I looked on the New York Times website, the first thing that came up on their bestseller list was their hardback listing, and I think like number 3 is still the book I'm going to show you, which is very impressive. However, I'm pretty confident that I am going to be able to finish the rollover books, so I might not prioritize it. So I'm going to show you guys this book. But don't get attached, okay? If I don't read it this month, it's still something I want to read, but the urgency's not there, okay? So, my bestseller pick is Fourth Wing by Rebecca Yarros. It's a small miracle that I have not read this yet because it's been everywhere. The sequel is already out. I know the third one already has a date. So I'm very behind on keeping up with this very now famous best-selling romantasy series. It's set at Basgiath War College where dragon riders are trained, I believe. Sounds legit. Sounds dangerous as hell. And our main female character's name is Violet. Violet straight up thought she was going to be a scribe for the rest of her life and was like looking forward to doing her due diligence, but like doing it behind a desk. However, her badass / pain in the ass mother, who is like the commander of the army, has forced Violet to go be a dragon rider, so she has to go to dragon rider school and try not to die. Of course, there's a hot guy involved, whose name is Xaden. Oh, he's a powerful and ruthless wing leader. Cool. So yeah, he doesn't like her initially, but I'm sure that's going to change real quick. I'm so sassy today, but like I really do love these tropes, so I'm here for it. I just might not be prioritizing it because it would be really cool if I could actually get my full ass TBR done this month, wouldn't it? Wouldn't that be something? Okay, so officially what I'm trying to cover in May's LitLand are just these 5 from LitLand proper, and that is Dial A for Aunties by Jessie Q. Santanto, The Davenports by Crystal Marquis. I will check on that name pronunciation. The Nightingale by Kristen Hanna, Circe by Madeline Miller, and Sweet Tooth by Ian McEwan. And then, of course, I will attempt the monthly troll if needed. I do, however, need to finish 2 other rollover picks. Remember, I accomplished the 3rd rollover pick already because of the refilming of this. So I've read Heart Principle by Helen Huang already. I need to read I'll Be the One by Lila Lee and Black Hills by Nora Roberts. So we have a total of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 official books on the TBR. However, that's not all we're doing here today, folks. We are going to talk about the Whodunnit Readathon. The Whodunnit Readathon is hosted by 3 lovely fellow booktubers here. I will link their channels down below. Danielle from Bookchara, Naomi from Naomi's Bookshelf, and then Paige from Pages with Paige. All 3 of them have Clue or Cluedo themed TBRs, and they got together to make the Whodunnit Readathon. So if you like my game with its chaos, you should absolutely check out all 3 of their channels and their TBRs because it's a lot of fun. So the cool thing about this readathon that I'm really pumped about is that there are no real set prompts. You can kind of just do whatever you need to do, and you will see exactly what I mean by that in a second. But basically, you are kind of role-playing as one of the Cluedo characters. I have chosen Mr. Green because I got greedy. Mr. Green, if I had succeeded at this, you have to flip a heads or tails like a coin, and you'll see I did this digitally and failed miserably at it. Had I succeeded, I would have been able to just know one character, one weapon in one room. But no, now I failed and I've gotten tails. And now I have to read a minimum of 6 books to complete. Luckily, I have 8 books to read this month, so I'm fine. I'm fine. So the way this works is there are basically videos that you can read for any character, any weapon, any room. And once you complete that, you can watch a video that they have pre-made for us to kind of reveal information as we go along. And you can double up on your reads. You have to do it across categories, not within the same category. So I couldn't make a book fit for Miss Scarlet and Professor Plum, but I could make something work for Miss Scarlet and the conservatory, if that makes sense. Basically, what I need to check off and try to understand is a minimum of 3 characters, a minimum of 3 weapons, and 3 rooms. That is basically how you figure out the whodunit of it all. So I am going to double up a little bit. I am going to talk through really quickly now how I'm planning to use these, but I reserve the right to change my mind and figure my shit out as I go. So for Dial A for Aunties, I'm going to be using this for 2 different prompts. I will be using this for Dr. Orchid. So you can, for Miss White, you can also choose the replacement character, Dr. Orchid. And so I'm going to do Dr. Orchid because Dr. Orchid is an Asian woman and our main characters and supporting casts are Asian women. So that's why I'm doing this. And then I'm also going to use Dial A for Aunties for the kitchen because they're caterers and they're catering a wedding. So you can see what I mean about there's no set prompts. You can kind of squish things in however liberally you would like to. I'm also going to use 2 prompts for the Davenports. Because of this gorgeous gold cover, I am going to use the Davenports for the candlestick because a gold candlestick just feels very appropriate. And I'm also going to use the Davenports to explore the lounge because the name Davenport is also the name of a common name for a piece of furniture. I think a very nice couch, if I'm not mistaken. So that's why it's the lounge. I do need I need 3 characters, 3 weapons, and 3 rooms. So I have so far 2 rooms. I have the lounge and the kitchen. I have 1 weapon, the candlestick, and 1 character. So I'm making my way through. And the last book that I will double up on, because I do officially have to read a minimum of 6 for this, is Kristen Hanna's The Nightingale. So I'm going to use this one for Mrs. Peacock for 2 reasons. One, it's a very blue cover. Very blue cover. And also, peacock is a bird, nightingale is a bird. It all made sense. Then also I'm going to use this for the weapon revolver because it's set during World War II and I imagine guns will be involved at some point. So I'm going to use Cersei for a wrench. And here's what I mean by getting creative, because Cersei throws a wrench into the patriarchy's plans. So she's the wrench. That is what I am doing for that, and you can't stop me. Sweet Tooth will then help me with Professor Plum, because Serena kind of like is in the process of either graduating or recently graduated, and a lot of her journey starts in a college like setting, and she has to do like literary investigation with this handsome writer person, so Professor Plum. Then for my last room, I am going to choose to explore the conservatory with Nora Roberts's Black Hills, because a lot of the setting of this takes place like out on a range or a ranch, like in nature, and so the conservatory in a fancy house is kind of almost like a greenhouse kind of place. So this is how I will be getting my conservatory in there, and this is one of my rollovers from this month. So those are the 6 books I'm going to try to read for the Whodunnit Readathon. If everything goes to plan, I would love to be able to vlog this for you, but because of all the technical difficulties I had at the start of this month, I am going to have to refilm like meaningfully 6 to 8 videos, so please be patient with me. I will probably mention that several times, and I promise I'm not doing it for any other reason than to just be transparent and communicative for people who are maybe just joining us together. So we'll see how this month goes. Anyway, thank you for spending time with me. I hope you have had the most wonderful reading day or night, depending on when you see this video. And I'll see you in the next one. Bye.
Hold on, girl, now wait just a minute. I've got something to say. You should hear it. Oh, I'm happy to make time.